We have just unleashed the power of a for loop in our crew birthday app, but we haven't even scratched the surface of how easy this can make things for us. Of course, we have 3 crewbies in here, but in our crew, we actually have 14 crewbies. So we're not really done. We would go to the design tab and we can add another crewbie. So we can go to this text label and it's named to, and we can duplicate it. And we can go through that same process we did in the last video. And so we have X position 5, and let's make this at 120, and we'll call it, instead of name 2, this is name 3, and we'll go same here to the birthday, and let's put this at, let's duplicate this, and we'll put it at X position 120 and Y position 120, and let's call this birthday 3. But we're far from done, right? Because we only have 4 of 10 crewbies. So this is actually going to take a while, but we don't have to do it. There's an easier way. Let me show you over here in the code. What we're doing is, so just to be clear, we're adding another crewbie. So we created labels for another crewbie. So I'm just going to copy Manuela, copy C, Command C that is, and then comma here, very important, and then Command V. And this is, let's make this Sophie, and her birthday is March 17th, and her favorite color is blue, and her favorite food, let's make her favorite food oranges. Okay, so, we could go on like this. We have 4 crewbies, we have 10 more to go. We run our code, and we're only... And it automatically, just by adding Sophie and adding the label, it since we're using crewbies.length, it automatically incremented crewbies.length to 4. So now our I is looping through 0, 1, 2, and 3. And then when it gets to I is 4 less than crewbies.length? No, so it doesn't do it a 5th time. So it does it for I equals 0, I equals 1, I equals 2, I equals 3. So it's 4 times through the for loop, and it shows our 4 crewbies. And we could keep adding until we're up to 14. But AppLab gives us a way that's even easier. We can dynamically create these labels. So let's go to this design screen, design tab, and the birthday screen, and see our labels here. We've got name 0 at X position 5 with a width of 110 and a height of 18. Okay, so we can actually go over here to our on event, and inside of our for loop, we can actually create labels. So let's do that. We're going to use this text label functionality over here. If I can find it, it is right here, text label. This actually creates a label. So let's bring it over, drop it in. We need to give it an ID, and we need to give it text to put in the label. So the ID is just going to be this. It's just going to be our name label. So we're going to create that name label, and we're going to use that as the ID. So we'll call that name label. So the first time through the loop, that's going to be name 0. And then the text is just this, crewbies.name, crewbiesI.name, that is. So let's copy that. Command C and bring this up, and instead of text, do that. So that will actually create a text label for us. But it's going to be weird. It's going to create it in the upper left-hand corner. So we have to tell it once it's created, we use this set position, which is in this box somewhere. I'll just type it out. It's set position. It gives me the code completion. And the set position is looking for an ID. What's the screen element you want to set the position of? Well, ours is the one we just created, name label. And then what's the X position, Y position, the width, and the height. And so it's going to be this. It's going to be name label. The X position is going to be 5. The width is going to be 120. The X position is 5. The Y position is 30. The width is 120. And then the height is 18. So that is going to put our label in position. And that's going to work for us. And so that instead of us creating the label, the for loop is going to create the label for us. And then we can do the same thing for the birthday label. We can just create a text label. We'll just copy this, Command V, and instead of the name label, we're going to use this birthday label. So we will Command X, put this here. So instead of name label, we want to use that birthday label. birthday. Always matters. And instead of CrubiesI.name, it's CrubiesI.birthday. And then we want to do the same thing. We want to set position of that label. Command C, Command V. And so we want to set the position of the birthday label. And we want to set that not at position 5, but where is our birthday label? It is at position, X position 120, Y position 30. So it's X position not 5, but 120, and Y position 30, and its width is 190, and its height, I'm guessing, is also 18. Let's just peek. Is its height 18? Its height is 18. Okay. So that will put our label in place. And so we don't need this because it's being handled by that text label command. And we don't need this because that's being handled by the text label command. So this is going to create a label and set its position. One last thing. Notice these labels so nicely flow down the page. We are creating a label. And we're in fact going to create 4 labels because we're going to loop through the loop 4 times. But we are putting that label in the exact same space each time. We don't want to do that. So we want to increase this Y position by 30 each time. So let's create a variable Y position. And let's make Y position equal to, Y position is equal to 30, because that's for the first label. 30 plus 30 times I. Okay? So, a little bit complicated, but if you think it through, the first time through the loop, I is 0. So it's going to be 30 plus 30 times 0. 30 times 0 is 0, so the Y position is just going to be 30, just like this. The second time through the loop, it's going to be 30 plus 30 times 1, because I will be 1. So 30 times 1 is 30, so it's going to be at 60. And this second label is at 60. The third time through the loop, it's going to be 30 plus 30 times 2. 30 times 2 is 60, plus 30 is 90. So it's going to be at 30, 60, 90. So that Y position is going to increase by 30 each time. So if we change this parameter, instead of making Y position 30 each time, we will just change it to the variable Y pos, which we just did the math on, and we are changing it. We are increasing it by 30 each time. So now it will fill down nicely. And I think that's going to do it. We're getting a little warning here. Name label hasn't been declared yet. We spelled it wrong. We spelled it name label. Thank you to the yellow triangles for showing us where our bugs are. So we're looping through the for loop, and we are creating labels each time. And this is going to be a little wacky the first time. I think we're going to get errors, but let's run it and hit go. Yeah, and we got all these warnings saying like, warning, the text label ID refers to an ID name 0, which already exists. Yeah, we already had that on the screen, and we created a new one, and it just showed it right on top of it. So it's a little bit off, but let's just come in here and do the radical thing of, let's delete all our work here. We're going to delete these labels. So we can do that just by clicking on it. What's going on? Run it, reset, go to the birthday screen, the design tab. There we go. And now we can just click each of these screen elements and drag it off the screen, and that deletes it. Or I guess we can go here and delete it. And we can just delete, yes. Ooh, did we just delete the whole screen? Yes, we just deleted the whole screen. Sorry. Okay, so let's make a new one. So this is going to be the birthday screen. And we can change the color. And don't worry, we don't have to do a lot of work here. We want to, because our for loop's going to do the work for us. So that was not a disaster that we deleted the screen. So we want to get the color the same. So it's pound 40E472. So we go to the birthday screen, and the background color is pound 40E472. And that looks like it's the same. And there we go. And we don't need anything on the birthday screen because our code is creating it for us. This text label creates a label on the fly. So our for loop is actually going to loop through and create our 4 labels. And it does it beautifully.